Hello? Radio check. Alert at work. Is it the AO? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Glad you can join us today for another round of Super Robot Wars 30. And we are off and running with the boss rush attack here. Sending the Ryuko on a rush with the Enfusui, taking out a Wolgaru boss. Or rather, Wolgaru Elite unit. Opening up the hostilities today. We're still in the 10-wave boss battle stage on the onboard missions. Actually, this is the last onboard mission for this chapter. If you remember correctly, we actually finished the other boss rush mission yesterday, and we were in the thick of the 10-wave rush yesterday. What we had to call it short. Due to certain circumstances, so now we're coming in hot and heavy with it today. Hopefully, we might be able to finish this within the next 2 hours. Much as I'd love to be here for longer, I need to get this done quick because I started pretty late. Still had some stuff to do, and might still have some stuff to do after this. Hopefully, you can be with us until we finish this today. Haven't actually used the Shin Dragon in a long time. This is like the first time in a long time that he's getting some runs out here. Helping him get him some levels up just in case we have to throw him into the pipe as a replacement. And he's doing pretty well with 5-figure damage for larger targets. Now, that attack boosts him up 6 points to 169, along with the rest of Go's team. By the looks of it, we still have an advantage in damage, or rather, fleet power compared to numbers, even though they have 22 over our 17. They only have a total of 563,000, which is a rather underwhelming, all things considered. Jonah's already pretty high. Camille 186, Ultraman 185, 190, 184. Ooh. How about that? Team Sabata. Probably gonna help. No need for Banana to get some extra moves in there. He just has to cut this poor Neo Zeon pilot down with his Beam Saber. Not quite that much on damage, mostly because we haven't upgraded the silver bullets weapons capability, so he's just down to 8,000, but that's still impressive, all things considered. What's even impressive is that Banana is now up 4 points to 185. Trying to shake things up a bit more. Command Hut. Side Buster with a map attack. Side flush. Going on ham with a map attack for Masaki here. Looks of it, he's coming in heavy with 5-point damage for each one of them, but just 2 out of 3 criticals. No matter though, because that's a triple kill for our wind god himself. 2 points up to 185, pretty low considering. Nonetheless, extremely helpful. Eesh. Looks like Colin was a bit leveled, rather under-leveled there, so she'll have to do something about that. Shahada! Got a wave attack with a wave. Dang, that's not what she said! Wave Raging Surge are coming in clutch with 40,000 damage for both of the Black Chieftains, knocking him out of the sky and giving Callan a boost up to 186. needs another boost up here, actually. Nope. Daba seems to be in the need for a cleanup. Let's see here. Yeah, Daba could just slash these guys easy. Thankfully, he's in the command range, so he doesn't need to worry about it. No need to boost his evasion, thankfully. That poor Gyaradoga. Chopped up pretty easily, scoring or rather taking some serious damage. 13,000 from just a sword attack from the old game Mark II. And Daba jumps up 2 levels, 26, alongside Lilith. See, the issue here now is that the guys are starting to pull away while we still have some underleveled rear line units here. So I gotta do a little bit of a push-up to get them back in the fight. Thankfully, we're doing enough damage to do just that. Here it comes on with a rush. She's really fired up now. Incoming with a smoke bomb. Just like that, gets a stab in as well. Power launcher on the fight. Dual beam sabers inbound. Follow up with another beam saber to finish this off, doing 25,000 damage. And that poor Wolgar Elite is out of the fight. Helping get up several levels to 181. Now it's Leshy who's trailing at 177. Let's see how far she goes with this attack. Our own take on the attack sequence. 6% chance to get hit, but there's no need to worry because she's about to shoot it down. As you clearly see, Leshy's a bit more favoring range attacks with her attack sequence in comparison to the L game. Which is a focus on melee. Surely, really getting fired up there, getting a 16,000 damage point. Well, a blue crit to boot, as Leshy jumps up to 180. Things are about to heat up here as we're about to clear up the second wave of attackers. That would be a good time to probably clear up the front, rather the rear line of the golems from Rare Earth. Seriously though. Dynamic kill. 9,000 damage from that saber attack. Not exactly up to par in most of the others, but still doing enough to take out that golem, and Jonah jumps up 4 levels to 185. Now, Shinjiro here is about to turn this Gyaradoga into mincemeat with just a Specium blade. Chopping it down like a lumberjack here. 18,000 damage for that one. We'll have to remember Ultraman, or rather, Shinjiro doesn't exactly have the... No, he does have the Ignore Size +3 bonus that we gave him earlier, apparently. But it's still not max, so considering all things, that's still a nerfed melee attack. That's considering that we're attacking just a somebody who's just 2 sizes above him. And Instinct +2 actually helping there. Ultraman factor, not much of a factor so far. Who else needs a gun down? That Xeon soldier is about to be turned into target practice. Acid. I don't know how large the Gekoi Sui is in canon because I didn't see the stats before. So I don't actually know the size difference between it and the standard Keyta Doga, which is probably around 19 meters usually. So literally calling it massive might be a little of an overreaction, but still. Can we take it out with just the Vulcans? Nah. Looks like we'll have to slash our way through. Sending Camille in with a 0% chance of getting retaliation. 12,000 on a blue crit there with just sword. But that golem is out of the running. Giving Camille a boost up to 187. No, it is kind of funny that Camille's melee is usually depicted as a saber here, but when you look at some games like, I don't know, Gundam vs. Gundam Next Plus, he has the beam saber as a beam bayonet on his rifle. That's the only melee he has. Kind of frustrating, to be honest. I prefer the sword in its usual format rather than being used as a bayonet. But I guess that's how the cookie crumbles in most cases. Probably give him some variation considering the type of weapons he can carry. There's a bit of a difference here. I think we need to lure them on to Masaki and Kumo actually, so let's pull back Cullen and Stizak here and get the brothers up near the softer heavy metals. Not too worried about Koryo or rather Yuko because he can she can handle it just fine. It's Kusa we're talking about here after all. Now just give the gravity of Red Body and Gladiator double attack. Body and Gladiator! No need for critical with that one as it goes down to 17, but the poor golem on his right flank takes a critical hit at 22,000 damage. So much for the overkill. And now we're putting Ceruleum up to 186. And we end our turn for this one. Let's see how the enemy reacts. Remember, this is just turn 2 and we have 8 waves to go after this. So that puts us in a serious bind. Ultra Slash! Just the right size for the ult for Shinjo to take up. Clean cut and a 23,000 damage there. Blue crit for our little guy, and Ultraman gets a boost up to 187 again. No need to take him out, Masaki. Just had to fly away. That was pretty easy to dodge, actually. Really shouldn't have put Masaki all the way up front while he's attacking all the fire. These Sheetans just don't know who they're fighting with. He is the muscle Kishin of Wind after all, so it's no issue. Oh, there you are. Somebody smart enough to face the Getter Robo. Ha, smart. Now, oh, that's enough spirit actually. Well, whatever. Time to drive. Let's see how they tank this shot. Oh, that's painful. 2,000 damage, but not enough to give the getter a real problem. That's terrifying. That's a lot of getaways. You know, the getter roll, the Shin Dragon's head, it's kind of terrifying from that attack cut in. Like, they gave him a bit more of a chin for some reason. And they gave the head a bit more of a rock-like appearance. Thanks to that attack, the team gets jumped to 173. Guess we need to evade this one just in case. These Black Chieftains are doing some surprising amounts of damage with their assault rifles, actually. Change! Shin Liar! Coming with Driven Missile Storm won't be enough to take a kill shot here, but just enough to do significant damage. That poor Wolgaru soldier is the only one left behind on the front lines, apparently. Oh wait, never mind. There's this golem who didn't even attack. I guess he didn't have the range for it. So let's see who we can throw into this fight first. Nashi, maybe? Oh, Alonso, my good. No need to go full attack sequence on this boy. Oh, Alonso! Good hit. Leshy brings him down with 11,900 points on that attack. That poor golem doesn't even have a chance to react. Thanks to that, she gets a jump to 182. Of course, isn't about to be left behind by that, and she's gonna do a power launcher attack as well. Apparently enough to take out that Wolgaru over there. Ah man, I forgot. I love the cut-in when the Elgheim's visor shows up to his targeting lights. Just so perfect. Like, I know visor glow is really great, or rather really common amongst mecha units in general, but that scanning visor effect is just Speaking of Am gets a 2-point jump to 183, once again trumping Leshy here. Rather unexpected for the little girl. Looks like it's time for Getter Robo to show us what it's made of as it comes in for a clash run. Shin Keyta. A little too far. Let's just show him how a Tomahawk Boomerang actually works. Oh, never mind. Shin Poseidon? Nope. Alright, get our babies. Thought the veil was only gonna come up, but I guess it's still too little damage to make it work. Get up! Beam! Oh man, look at that Shin though. I really miss the Shin Getter and Shin Dragon combination attack when they bring out the gigantic Getter Tomahawk. The one that can cut planets in half. With Shin Getter out of the fight here, well... we'll just have to rely on the Shin Dragon doing most of the work on its own. But in return, it does make it more rewarding for the unit, and they're now up to 177 with that attack. Now, who is the poor folk who's gonna have to deal with that? Too far, or you get your beam. Well, let's have to get in close then. Second sender.
俺たちとシンドラゴンをシンクロさせるんだ。わかった。私たちも一緒に。これがゲッターの究極の進化だ。ゲッター。
Now, I'll be honest, the other thing that scared me about Shin Dragon was when I had to fight it in Another Century's episode 3 as the final boss. And its Getter Tomahawk was insanely annoying. Like, it was pretty, even though it's pretty slow, it can be pretty persistent as a tracking attack. So if you're not, like, vigilant enough to keep your eyes peeled around you, it will be attacking you from behind without you even noticing while you're too focused on taking out the big guy himself. And he is a tanky guy, to be exact. Tanky and well protected, so you really had to be on your game if you want to take it out without dropping your final grade down to, say, B or slightly lower. Speaking of dropping up, wrapping out, that last attack jumps up. Getter teams, the Shin Dragon team is levels up by 3. They are now at level 180, making things a bit easier for the team. I'm gonna clean this up so we can move on with the third wave of the attacks. Yep, he ain't walking away from that one. Apparently that still counts as a crit hit. 8,000 points of damage. And considering, though, that the enemy was pretty much already on smokes, the level up isn't high enough. Or rather, the level up isn't that high, and the Shin Dragon team goes up to 181. Ah, we already cleared up Wave 2, so it's time for Wave 3. And to really bring out the big guns for this one, as apparently the twins aboard the Sin of Friday have arrived. Kind of get a little funny, yes? Shiro. That's great. Iron Cutter! Oh, wow. You can actually take it out with just the Iron Cutter. Iron Cutter! That poor dino. The Devadadan is out of action for that one. You know, it's kind of funny that the cut in for the Devadadan when it takes a hit looks like it's a very, very sad face, or rather a very panicky one, even. Big Brother, not to be outdone, comes in with a rushing rust tornado. There's a chance that he could get taken down here. And he's also made of metal, so he's gonna melt up like that. 60,000 points of damage on the weakest Mazin Kaiser attack. That also ups Koji by 2 points to 185. But after this, the next wave might come from this side as well, so how do we clean this up? Team Salvador! Ike!
平和を歌いながらも戦いを仕掛けるなんて一瞬の勝負やられた
That poor Zanskar unit. Also, if it felt like the size difference seems to be a bit off, you have to remember, the Silver Bullet Suppressor is around the size of a standard mobile suit circa 0090, which is usually somewhere around 19, or probably sometimes even 20 meters. And most of the Zanskar units having transitioned to a more compact and more efficient Minovsky reactor are pretty much tinier in comparison, usually around 15 meters. So that cut-in animation was pretty much accurate. Speaking of accuracy, Banana just went up to 186. Only time to help our little Jonah here stay in the pack. Can he hit him with just the Vulcans? Nope. He's trying to slash as well, coming in with a 0% chance of countering. Really disappointed about the cut-ins for the end of the Phoenix here. And that's in comparison to what is basically a mass production unit that was just one-off customed. Like seriously, the cut-in animations for the Silver Bullet Suppressor are better than what is supposed to be an endgame one. Which kind of makes it sad, to be honest. Like, I know the Phoenix isn't exactly the type of rather the type of model that most people would like. It's a shame that it gets shafted as far as animations go. Can go do another map attack. Ow! He's out of juice! That sucks. I guess I'll have to make do with a Tomahawk Boomerang. Brother Shinlier? Nope, they're out of juice. I'll have to use the big guys here. Or rather use the small guys. Combination Ike!
無人機は動きが単調すぎる。
生きる。Now, even though most of the attacks have really flashy animations, I kind of miss when they had variation depending on whether the attack. Ooh, good damage there. As soon as I could with 27,000 points in damage and a critical to boot. Well, okay, back to my main point. I miss the days when the attacks had variation depending on whether whether the attacker was coming in from a ground position or a flying position. Because I remember when I first played Z2 and I was kind of surprised that the Nightmare frames can have rolling animations when on the ground, and if they had the flight capability, the animation was way different. Something like kind of saw it with the, for example, the Gurren, which I think was a pretty neat addition. Although I'm sure some other Some of the older titles also did that, but I don't know how to what extent actually. Ooh. Just the heat ball sword? Well, I guess that's gonna work. These days, the animation cut-ins are just straight out attacking from, or rather, straight out attacking from mid attack rather than starting in from a, what do they call it? From their standard standing positions. Like earlier, that attack from the Gurren was just already flying in instead of just showing her holding her position first. I don't think there's a variation for most of those attacks anymore. Okay, who do we clean up here first? Kusua, maybe? Fusui. What? What do you mean that thing is going down with just a single Infusui? Oh, that Mecha Golgulus didn't even stand a chance, and 50,000 points go down the drain for him as the Enfusui finds its mark. And the love couple of Bullet and Kusua get a jump up to level 186 after that attack. Now what he needs is... Nope! Dang it, why did I go for Boost Dash? Nope, Hyper Mega Launcher here. Camille about to go overkill in that. That poor mobile suit. Melts it 18,000 points of damage and a blue crit to boot. Nothing left of that piece of junk. Camille is going to be coming in here on the other side to wait for other units to spawn in, as he also gets a jump to 188. You still got 16 more units to deal with here on the third wave. I'm not exactly in a good spot to handle everything, I'm afraid. So let's see if we can just discutter our way here. Oh, hang on. No. Discutter should be enough to deal with this Dabadadan. Masaki making it look all too easy as he jumps up a 1 level to 186 there. But things could get heated once we start clearing up the middle waves. And we still have to worry about a boss sitting around here as well as here. Held in a customized Toronto and the twins on the Sin of Friday. Even worse, most of our units are out of position and can't really mutually support each other right now. So it's a matter of selecting which units come in first before we do anything critical. I guess it's time to get handy with some of these people. Sivana! What about these guys? Those Hirantos don't even look that tough. Eh? Just need the saber attack on this guy. so much for being the Zolonic Empire's best. Tokomakato! We're gonna cut in. Boom. Blue crit, 16,000 points of damage. That poor Toronto just got killed twice. And that also helps get up one level to 184. But time to show these isekai antagonists how an actual mecha fight goes. And just for disadvantage's sake, I'm sending Leshy on a ground tech. Give her a handicap, so to speak. But see, as you can clearly see here, it still shows her attacking from the air. Not much for damage there. Not getting crit, but nonetheless, 5 points of damage. Or rather, fact figure damage for Leshy as she also jumps up to 184. Looks like Daba's love partners are neck and neck in this fight. Shinlaya! Nope. Poor Shin Dragon has used up most of its energy to kill people, or rather kill the enemies, so kind of boosts him up a bit. Maybe the Torontos will have an easier time getting blown up. Yep. Then he Tomahawk boomerang these guys. To a Zolonic Empire pilot, this might look like he's fighting a giant dragon chimera thing. That might terrify him no end. 13,000 points of damage. Yeah, he's not walking away from that one. Speaking of not walking away, the Shin Dragon team are currently down to 5 points of energy, which means they can't really do much. Or do anything at all for that matter. They can't even fly out of their position. Poor Daba is just 2 points ahead of these girls. They can probably overtake him if they want to. For now, though, we need the big guy to show us how to deal with the bigger targets here. He's about to melt this armory too. Yoshinoku Beam! That Water Viper is out of action. 15,000 points of damage here. Ain't walking away from that. Didn't even get a chance to show off its capabilities, and he is now out of the fight. Helps Koji jump up a level to 186 as well. There is no more time for playing around here. Remember, we have to finish this within 20 turns or we're done for. Nope, there's no post-attack order, or rather post-move attack for these guys. Funny enough. Like, even the safe fight mode when you're 5-barrel, anti-air gun should be a post-move, but for some reason it's not. I could just sit here and listen to the Majin Kaiser theme all day. We gotta take care of these bosses so we can move on to the next wave. I'm familiar. And no need to get Masaki involved with that guy. Let's just attack them from this range with a heat sword.
新しいグレンの力思い知れ間合いに入った
Okay. Yeah, Callan taking no prisoners with that one, scoring 17,000 points of damage, making sure that Questor drone is not walking away from the fight. Didn't give her enough levels for a, didn't give her enough points for a level up though. That doesn't really matter much right now. In comes Suzaku with his rifle. Maison rifle coming in hot and clutch with 22,000 points of damage on a blue crit. In a way, that's probably gonna give them a boost in levels. Apparently not. Looks like the questers were becoming a bit too easy and predictable to provide any XP on a single kill, or rather, single shot kill. Maybe it's time for Masaki to show us why he's one of the Masaki-shin after all. Ike! Akashic Buster!
あっちに気づいたにゃ
おいでなすってね
行くぜそうかしくるこださちサイバーダチェンジくらえかしくバスターWell, they wanted to fight a Magic Knight, so I gave them one. And Carol didn't even get a chance to show off her skills as she goes down in one shot from a 34,000 point Akashika Buster. And that leaves that poor Jalodic soldier all alone on the field, surrounded by some pretty high level units here. They seriously have no energy to attack. Oops. Gave the Shin Dragon a little too much to work with there. What's the Mega Cannon? You know, you can tell I've never really used the Phoenix that much because I don't know where the attacks are. Oh. Still counts as a blue crit, but only down to 12,000 damage, considering he's already buffed up by most of his skills. It does jump him up to 187 though. So that's that's a silver lining in a pretty bleak situation. Can Banana kill this armor in one shot? Apparently not. Guess it's time to give him Zeal at least. Well, at least he has Zeal autopilot. Or rather, he gets Zeal automatically because of his ace bonus, but it only works once a map, so that's a bit of a problem. Let's just soften this guy up a bit then. Vulcan! Still critical down there. Yellow critical at 6,000 points of damage from a Vulcan here. Okay. It's kind of nice that Banana acknowledges most of his friends from the Academy in these voice lines, even though I don't think they showed up in the movie, right? But I do remember that I think they were being mentioned in the manga adaptation. A little bit more of a disrespect here as we light this guy up with another barrage from the Head Vulcans. Oh crap, I forgot to turn on his multi-action. Well, doesn't matter, that's double crits coming in from Banana here. And that snake is out of the running. At least for the foreseeable future. Oh yeah, I still have my multi-action. Nonetheless, Banana gets a 1-point boost to 187 with that one. Maybe it's time for Koji to show us what he's made of. I didn't give him Hidden Away, right? No, I still have it. Who do we throw into this fight? We still got 6 units to take out from the third wave. That includes one boss over here. It's time to clean up house in this part of town. Attack sequence, not still too high. How long to make it?
あの単調な動き、自動操縦と見た。射程内。
いけ！そこだ! Yep, Leshy getting 1.2 damage, 1.2 times the damage on that attack with 11,000 points and a kill shot to boot. That's probably the last of the armor stuff. There's still one right next to Banana over there. Nonetheless, that gives her a boost up to 185. Excellent work from Leshy there. Let's see how shows up in response. Take out the other remaining armor on the field. You look at that cutscene. Cut in. There's just something about scanning eye effect really makes it look, well, like it really stands out from a lot of the other cut-ins from that time. Speaking of standing out, that gives a 1-point boost to get up to level 185, and she's still pretty much neck and neck with Leshy here. So how do we deal with this poor guy here? I mean, Boy's out of the running because he's only down to 5 EN. Also, there's the other Mecha Golgilas who hasn't actually used his drill attack at all. And there's a Devadadan, which only has the melee and the laser beam up, but they haven't even used either of these attacks. Ultraman's a little too far to take care of Kaiju. The Kaiju, rather. Maybe it's time for yet another map attack from Masaki.
Masaki, こっちに気づいたにゃ。
おいでなすったな。
行くぜー！サイフラッシュ！ Double critical from Masaki here. That barrier won't do jack. Speaking of not doing jack, apparently they were too weak to give Masaki at least 1 point up in levels. But now it's time for this poor Zelodic soldier to pack it in. Question is, who are we gonna throw into this fight? Okay. I think we should just give him an energy wings farewell.
異世界の騎士か剣で勝負するいける何の戦果も上げられんと
17,000 points of damage and a blue crit to boot. With just the energy wings, that poor Celotic pilot was right about having to complain about not accomplishing anything. And that boosts Suzaku up to 188. Nope, don't do that. Now we only have the twins, Karosa and twin Melissa. I think it's a good time as any to scare the guy. 36,000 points of health, though. Well, I guess it's time to show the kids how the adults work in the world. What? They can tank that Final Kaiser Blade? Seriously? Well, whatever. Okay. Final Kaiser Blade! I'd be surprised if he actually gets a critical for this one. Nope. He gets a critical, but it's not a kill shot. But looks like Twins managed to tank that, but they're pretty much in danger right now. Poor Koji will have to tank this one. Bonk bonk. Wow! Still managing to get 283 damage out of that, even though the persist effect was up. And for that one, Koji gets 187 in his boost up. Still though, 287 points of damage against the Majin Kaiser that already has its defense is maxed up. And even has Majin power to boot. That's something to worry about. What do we throw into this match? Fine, Shiro, cover up for your brother for a bit, will ya? Let's give him the Iron Cutter. Nope. Full volley. Full volley? Nope. Well, we give him a smash hit. It should be enough, right? Still? The guard level on these kids. Guard level 2 and potential 7? The unit only has an EM shield ability, so that can't be it. Fine, let's just soften him up with the Vulcan. Maybe not. I didn't want to use this, but you left me no choice. Baroda! Asin!
これが俺の任務だ。
お前は俺の獲物だ! Yeah, those twins aren't gonna cut it out. Ooh, 20 points of damage, 20,000 points of damage to that one. And Sin of Friday is out of the running, taking out the rest of the third wave with it. Shido gets 2 points of a boost for that one, though. Looks like we're sitting right next to the next wave, but it's pretty low. Rather pretty low at just 20 units. Maybe it's about time we did a Limita Kaido. Limita Kaido! Yep. That should clean things up nicely with Ultraman here.
熱い走行だって貫いてみせる。これは全力で倒すっていう合図だ。ひゃー。
Detour. Disintegrated with 33,000 damage. The poor alien robot isn't going anywhere, and he helps get Shinjo up. 1 point to 188 here. Get Buster Launcher. Buster Launcher! Max output! Paragron Hassa!
今できることをする。
じゃあ私はダマの応援。
味方の退避を確認。やるぞ。
No enemy, no allies in the firing line. Buster Launcher! And again! Limita Kaido! Itadaku!
やってみせる。
Eat some of this rainbow power, baby. Yeah, Dappa's making sure nobody's walking away with that with 26,000 points of damage.
こっちも必死なんだ。
That Barakron isn't going home anytime soon. Or at least, he will be. In a dustpan. That attack boosts Dabba up to 187. Yeah, no, the Zimmer armor isn't going to do much against the absolute zero pain, unfortunately. And if he still manages to walk away from that one, Lelouch has a second attack waiting right in the wings.
条件の多くはクリアした。
来るぞ、ルルーシュ。
よし。すでに勝ち筋は見えている。チェックメイトだ。
Kinda missed the flying crystal from Shinkiro though.
どうしてこんなことになった？
20,000 points of damage there. Lelouch making sure there's no way he can come off that walking safely. That boosts him up a bit to 189, along with C2. And now the Gekoi Sui is in a good spot to provide some pretty good command boosts to most of the guys on the left flank. I just realized I sent Camille on a goose chase over on the other side due to the mistaken belief that there will be enemies spawning from that point. But well, guess he'll have to sit this one out until the next phase arrives. Well, not that that's much of an issue, as we have the whole area in good coverage anyways. Let's see if we can get this boy out of the fight. Zero energy. Thankfully, they're well within Mitsuba's command range, so they'll have a full recharge after this turn. Time for a map attack, I suppose? Pretty small. Soda. With a hand soda. Ooh. These heavy metals aren't really that durable against physical attacks as compared to beam weapons. 20,000 points damage. Card showing the Poseidon force is why you don't mess with somebody who can hit you with a wired knife. And that jumps her up to 187. Suzak about to run out of action points here. They can't even use a Varus attack because there's nobody in range. So he can use a standard Varus to take out one of these guys at least. That poor Poseidon unit isn't going anywhere. The Varus shot taking a good hit out of the enemy unit with a 23,000 attack to come in with a blue crit kill. Suzaku is about to get that promotion up to 88. Wait, what? Oh. He's actually stuck in 188 now. He and Callan are neck and neck as far as points are concerned, though he's a bit more ahead, just needing 75 points for the next promotion. And Adam's apparently ahead as far as XP is concerned, compared to Leshy, that is. Now, where do we go next? A special beam? Yeah, special blade. Oh. Wow, they're that weak? That can't be right. Slash.
ウルトラマンは大きさじゃないんだよ。そこだ。
Oof, 27,000 damage, blue crit, and a kill. Shinjiro getting in the fight here now. And getting a boost up to 189 as well. Batshu? Or another Batagron? Foliage could probably benefit from more points up, so I guess we're gonna throw in that Hadron shot, or rather that Sealed Sword, against the Batshu. Yep, 50,000 point damage on the melee attack. Unlucky doesn't even begin to describe that poor condition right there. Village can pretty much clear the map on his own right now, but energy will be a problem in a bit, I think. Well, I think we need to give Carulium at least something to do, right? Yeah, soften up this guy. Gladiator! Nope, he's not walking away from that one. 21,000 points of damage. That's the second to last Baragron out of the fight. Let's put him next to Camille so that he can be ready to assist. Just in case. That attack, though, gives him a boost up to 187. There's nobody in the 170s now, as everybody is up in points. Pretty clean spread of levels here. Pretty much overtaking everybody else. that were originally in the front line, so it's going to be a bit of a pain to balance levels up again. Can you just beam magnum the heck out of this? Ruin some arms, yes? Maybe not yet. How about Psycho Attack? That guy? Take it out with a Psycho Attack.
俺の感覚が広がっていく。作るんだ。俺たちの物語を。俺たちの未来を。
Very underwhelming animation cut in for this one, to be honest. That's supposed to be the most powerful attack in the Phoenix's arsenal, but watching the animation, you really don't feel it. Which is a bit of a shame, all things considered. Well, nonetheless, that's gonna help him get some more levels. He's now just 41 points away from a point up to 188. Not like that's gonna be a bit of an important thing in the long run. But we still have to worry about these questers down here. Yes, it's time to let the girls have their fun with these bat shoes first. Time for the cut-in. It's a rear slide. Here we go. Yep, that bat shoe's now walking away. 50,000 points of damage. Leshy making, or rather am making sure that guy's not getting his promotion. And that instead gives him the boost up to 2 points and 187. Let's see if Leshy can keep up with just a saber. Tell me why, show me the way to you. Lead me now where you are. Nope. That wasn't a crit, but that was still enough to take out the bat shoe with one attack. Unfortunately, that also keeps Leshy down, and she's now at just level 186. Yeah, you can just shut him up with a power launcher, yes? Yep. Put Lelouch in the middle just to scare him, as two girls try to fawn over Dubba over here. Scuck it in! You don't really use a power launcher on this thing. That wasn't even a crit, but that poor Banshu didn't even get a chance to shoot out, and he is out of the running. Also giving Dubba and Lilith enough XP to jump up to 188. Just like that, the fourth wave of attackers is down for the count. Their power halved to 256,000 fleet power, and only 8 units to work with. I guess it's time to get serious. So I don't know. You can't. Yeah, Tori Draco. Yep, Connor showing us why the new Heat Wave Surger is an absolute beast there. Coming up with a jump in levels as well, boosting up to 189. Suzak is now down on X point, so he can't really do anything else. Kyle looks like she'll be cleaning up the other guys here on the lower end. Good cut there, but that wasn't a crit kill, only doing 27,000 points of damage compared to the other one. Time for Lancelot Singh to do some cleanup as well. What? Huh. I guess these guys are a bit too big for his combination attack without a crit. Eek here. Suzak coming in with a barrage here. $26,000 points of damage there. Suzak making sure he's not walking away from that one. And he gets boosted up to 189 as well. Fortunately, his turn is already over as he ran out of X points for multi-action. Oh, not that that matters much, because we're about to soften things up a bit more with these guys and have other girls handle it. Let's see how much damage Masaki handles there. Yeah. 行くぜNo crits there for damage, but nonetheless, Masaki does enough to make things a bit easier for the lower level units to clean up after him, and he jumps still to 189. I think it's time for Lelouch to clean up some of the lighter garbage. Yep, clean up right here. Surprisingly, these guys are apparently too low skilled. But there's apparently enough of a skill gap between Lelouch and the enemies that he can do a second attack if he wants to. Well, not the enemies in general, but these Questor units specifically. Ooh, 20,000 points! Where do we put the big guy? Considering movements, they're probably going to be coming in from the right of the map this time. Hopefully that's how it works now. Wasted the movements of the big guys here on the right. Nonetheless, that's enough for Lelouch and C2 to jump to 190. Second highest in ranks, probably behind Mitsuba herself. Question is, where do we go from here? Well, we probably have Daba take out the guys up top, followed by the girls. Mastalonza, Energin!
ポセイダルのために無駄死にする気か。最大出力でいく。
Hasta lucha! Energin! Keyta Kaido!
ここだ。当たれ。
Got a hit, baby! That different coding isn't gonna help you. 24,000 points is not even a critical. That poor heavy metal isn't even gonna be able to do anything. And he's now out of the running. 2 weeks to provide enough XP for Daba and Lish to level up even. Now time for the girls to show us what they're made of. Heavy metal. Metal. And time! Attack sequence initiated. Fire for effect. For a heavy metal headliner that won't know what hit him.
今はわかる。ポセイダル軍の歪みが絶対に逃がさない。
Takugo! 18,000 points there. Really not letting that one get away. Leshy tries her best to stay in the running, but she is down to just 187. By the looks of it, we'll have this in the bag for this round.
レッシーに負けちゃおれんのよ。行くよ。これでどう？
Go finisher slash here. No, it kind of sucks that we watched many more lines from besides the older recordings because her voice, her seiyuu had already passed on several years ago because of cancer. Would have been nice to hear her react to some of the other units to get joined, to get connected with Algaim and 30th. Who else do we have to deal with? Oh, this guy. Well, I'm not feeling particularly picky right now, so let's just slash him to death.
平和のために私は戦う。
I'm gonna wait for the next wave. Let's hope it doesn't have boss. Callan is now at 190 as well. Oh. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. 4 bosses. Our units are mostly out of action, or rather out of position. Can Camille take that out? Take that charge? Nope. Hans is a little too high level yet. Lelouch is sitting in the middle of a pack of heavy Kikaiju. Ashita shita, Ika imate mo. Too bad though, these Kikaiju are easy pickings for Ultraman. Ginger won't have too much trouble here. It's not even a critical. 24,000 points of damage, and that Kikaiju is down for the count. Not even enough XP to give him a global boost either. Who else needs a pump up? Ashura is a 34, so is Brocken. I don't think they can do anything about that. Camille, you're gonna need to cut them off a bit. Why is Camille's range ability weaker than his melee ability? I wonder.
前に出てきたやつをやらせるか落ちろ
Oof, 12,000 points damage on that armor. Didn't even get a break up in edgewise. Not even a lot strong enough to give him a level up. Probably taking out this Poseidon forces well, but be enough.
侵略者はまとめていなくなれこれで決めてやるそこか
Yeah, boy.
やってられるか
Gee, you think? Putting him behind here. He's now up to 189 and a good spot. Get more. Mostly ours are not in a good position, and I don't think we can actually do something about this bigger guy here. Just gonna send Cullen over to deal with the Woolgatter later. I can take out this guy? Maybe send Leshy out. And Leshy could hold position. Yeah, nah. Let's put these girls within striking range of the bosses. I mean, Baron Ashura and Count Brocken might be moving in here later, so let's just place them over there. Have Daba up front. Psycho attack? Seriously? 87, 189. Yeah, I guess we should just have Jonah provide some attack so I care. Psycho attack da! Ike!
俺だってやってみせる
Really? I don't think so, buddy.
作るんだ俺たちの物語を俺たちの未来を
Every time I see that cut-in with the two girls, I feel like the narrative production team were trying to evoke the image of the biosensor from Zeta, but it's just not as evocative. Rather, there's just not much of a... how shall we say this? There's just not much of motion in that cutscene compared to, say... like, compared to the Wave Rider crash animation, you don't see whose spirits are there. But, of course, if you watch the original Zeta, you'd know it's most of the ladies who have already passed on before the final battle on Grips. But even with just the silhouettes fusing with the Zeta Gundam, you get the strong emotion that the characters in those spirits feel. And the general framing of the animation is way better than just showing them floating around like in narrative. Probably another one of the cons of that particular movie. Well, enough time for another multi-action. We can take out this guy with a Hyper Mega Launcher. Beam Rifle, maybe? Okay. Vulcan? No. Let's just take out the armor. いけるかよ Good hits all around, and Camille still scoring the critical there. 12,000 points of damage. That water viper ain't going nowhere. It does help Camille go somewhere though, jumping him up to 190. Still got 18 more to go. Even though we have the attacker advantage, they have the numbers, and they're in a better position than most of our attacking units. Question is, how do we deal with this? That's not gonna cover it. Plus a multi-action for the day. We can't use Wave Surge or Long Range for this one. Just have to soften up this Kaiju with the Heian Saga.
戦いを終わらせるために目障りだよ
21,000 points of damage against a Kaiju with the weakest attack in the Guden's weapons arsenal. Guess Colin really hates the big guys. That Attacker Edge Attacker X doing the ignore size limit, compensating for lack of an ignore size attack bonus. There's also Instinct coming in. Heian Saga doesn't even have bonus attack, or rather attack bonuses to boot. The only ones that do are the Wave Surge long range map attack and the standard Wave Surger. Now, who do we throw into this fight next? Hadron Shuttada! Nope. Let's cut off that guy in the head.
私にはお前に対する責任がある。
俺も約束したからな。
やれるか、ルルーシュ。
無論だ。こいつの火力ならば一撃で仕留める。
It will indeed take him out in one blow because it's just a weak Viper armor. 70,000 points of damage.
まだこの力は必要だ。
優しい世界のためだろう。
Clearing it up with Lush here. Probably just had to hold the position here close to him because we have to deal with these two bosses. And then there's also... Wait, what? Oh no. Dolgan is going to be coming in. Then there's Hans over here on the other side with the his own Cavalry Temple. Why is it called Cavalry Temple? It's a Cavalry Temple anyways. So, we've only got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units to go. Fortunately, Banana is a little too far for anything, so we'll just have to soften up everybody else. Soften it. Let's give him the armed armor. How is it gonna go again? Oh, that's it? That's kind of lame. Well, that still does a lot of damage, and it helps Jonah get up to 186, or rather 187 rather. Oh, he's up to 189. Ultra Slasher. You got weakened by an Ashura.
熱い走行だって貫いてみせる
But just had to got him with the Specium Blade. Ooh! Wow! Almost got in one shot. Well, that was unexpected. Only got 2 units left in the running here. Let's clean up this guy. Oops, sorry about that. Kind of was snoozed for a bit there. Let's see Camille get a slash out.
その力を奪うまだ抵抗するのださせるか故郷に帰ればよかった
Not enough for a crit there. That's still doing 5 points of damage. Sending that potato unit out into the running point. Just trying to keep Camille close to Carulium for mutual support. As Hans still threatens the units. Lelouch, meanwhile, probably soften up. About an Ashura here. Let's see if we can actually take a shot at Lelouch with just 50% chance.
今の俺にできることアドロンブラスターでそこまでだこの程度の痛み首がちぎれた時に比べれば大した
Still
こ
a lot
と
of
ない
damage there.
逆らう奴は全て死刑だ
This is Katie pretty well tonight.
殺戮賞の回収だ貴様の悲鳴を聞かせろギリギリでも当たらなければどうということはない
Did he say, yep? 当たらなければどうということはない. Too bad Quattro is not deployed right now. But that was definitely a Quattro joke right there. I mean, yeah, you know, Quattro Char, same thing. And with that, turn 3 is over. And we're halfway through on the waves. We just have to clear these guys out so we can move on to the 6th one. They're going for the big guy. Again. Major mistake.
普通の敵じゃないな恨むなよ雑な攻撃では私は捉えられない
Yeah, he'll throw that out easy.
これも真理だ撃てるがいい
Pink Instructor! Okay, I still do not get who thought of this name. Link Instructor? And somebody... They can't just have seen it from some sort of periodical or something, right? There's gotta be some sort of explanation for why they call it the Link Instructor. Like, we're back in the era of, Captain Quattro is a Char again.
当たったらやばかった一寸法師って知ってるか今だ
Didn't even need to crit with that one, and that's even his weakest attack. And now, Shinjiro is up 180. These Vulgar sorcerers are really powerful. It's really, really glass-like. And, yep, Colin didn't even need to score a crit for that one. Vulgar soldier number 275 million, maybe? is already out of action. Not enough to give Colin enough points to level up to 191 though. They need to send in more bodies. Oh hey! Seriously? You wanna do this? Nah. Let's have Suzak clean these guys up. Wow, you suck at this. Alright, let's soften Cap Rocket with just the absolute zero beam so Suzak can help him.
死んでみるといい。もはや貴様もこれまでや。服従させてやれ。
Would you let a KG in his creating mind, or rather psycho voice characters?
私の腕も落ちてはいないようだな。
その鈍重な動きが命取りになる。
任せたぞ。
What is she?
捕らえた。条件はすべてクリアだ。これで終わらせる。
See how much damage it does. Hopefully enough for everybody else to clean up in just one weak shot. What? 20,000 points of damage there. That Brocken isn't gonna be going anywhere, that's for sure. Incoming. Not too much to worry about.
ビームが効かなくても戦い方はある。ゼータを通して俺の力が広がっていく。俺の体を通して出る力を遊びでやってんじゃないんだよ。
Not gonna be a kill shot, but that's gonna do enough damage to scare him away.
どこかに油断があったか。
Oh, there was another two of those metal armors, huh? Coming in for the next waves, hopefully. Yay! Wait, what? Oh, only just 100,000 on the boost here. Should be enough to get Go back in the fight. Tomahawk? No. Keyta? No. Shin Poseidon? No. Hang on, let's give Go and company some extra actions. Let's cut him off with a lighter Shin Poseidon attack. Oop. I hit the arrow key by mistake. Oh, whatever. That's enough to give Go and the rest of the Shin Dragon team 5 points up to level 187. Fortunately, juice isn't enough to keep him alive. Where's Suzak? I need you to jump up a bit further. Access Zenkai! Oh, you just need the energy wings here. Absolute disrespect. Attack count Brock on the weakest weapon. 7,000 points. Pretty weak, all things considered, but that's enough to clean him up. Heads will roll. Probably your only head, though. Or rather, only your head. Surprisingly, Suzuki gets a 2-point jump to 191 as well, leaving Callan behind. She definitely won't like that. Incoming with a Wave Surfer long-range attack.
悪いけどここで消えてもらう。
That's not what she said. She didn't say anything about Asher. What the heck? Eh, doesn't matter. Well, that guy didn't matter either, and Colin takes him out with just a little over 23,000 points of damage, and actually keeps her up in the running, coming up now 1 point to 191. Now we only have 8 units to deal with, which includes Hans in his cavalry temple. This 4 Poseidon Force Soldier and a Belt Bud, and a couple of armors, some Wolgara elites, and Dol Gana in his his Legatus class mobile weapon. Well, Ghost still needs to jump up, so I guess we can just send him against the armors. Shit, Poseidon! Tomahawk. Ooh, I can take him out with just a Tomahawk boomerang. Get out, Tomahawk! It hits all around there, just going a little below 13,000 points of damage. But nonetheless, going the rest of the Shin Dragon team with a level up to 188. Shin Tomahawk! Coming in with a Tomahawk boomerang to finish this other armor, but that's eating up in their energy reserves. It never gets old seeing Ghoul's cutscene without Tomahawk boomerang attack. Control unit is now cracked up and out of the fight. I mean, probably gonna need this guy, or rather, the Shin Dragon team a little further in the back now. They definitely need a recharge. How about Masaki? Masaki can probably clean stuff around here with just a disc cutter. Which one needs less energy? This cutter doesn't need any energy. Time to cut him up. Inbound supersonic. That mobile weapon out of action, 28,000 points of damage to boot, and that's not even a crit. Too weak to even give Masaki any level ups for that one. Trying to block up the Legatus unit, while Masaki clears out his escort. Yeah, no, he's getting pissed. It's now up at 35,000 points of damage. A blue crit, making sure that guy doesn't get out of here alive as Masaki jumps up to 190. Okay, who else do we have? We have a Blood Cradle, a Balbud, a Calvary Temple, and the Legatus Class mobile weapon. Let's clean these guys up, shall we? Jonah, sure, whatever. Put him around here, maybe. Saber should be enough. Nope. Psycho attack, apparently. Excuse me for a bit. Just check. Go some stretching.
使いこなしてみせる。君が鳥になるなら、俺も鳥になる。これで終わりだ。
Well, that wasn't much, but still a good amount of critical points of damage for Jonah there. As he gets a little bit closer to 181. Unfortunately, kind of forgot to give him extra attack, or rather, extra actions, but still. He's in a good spot to deal with any issues that may arise, thankfully. It's 7. It's 7. Maybe Cole can take care of that guy. Exit Zenkai! Tomahawk? Yep, he can. Let's give him a multi-action boost, just to be on the safe side. Tomahawk? Oh, man!
本当に戦うべきは俺たちではない。
Double Tomahawk! Yeah, no walking away from that one for that Balbud as Ghost and team scores the kill. Question is, will that be enough to get him a level up? Yes, it is, and they are now up to 190. Quite the jump in levels for going the team here after multiple stages of not being used, actually. Yeah, let's just go with a Hyper Mega Launcher on this guy. Not worth using a new type ability. Your Zimmerin armor coating isn't going to do much for that. Boom. And that's the right flank cleared. I'm going to have to send Camille back here for a raid charge. Thankfully, that does help him level up to 191. And now, for the finale of this wave, can we send somebody to engage him? Anybody got support tech? Nope. Nope. That's one point. Well, Leash is a defensive supporter, though. 190, 190. Limited Kaido? No. Maybe put some technical to command. Nope. Limited Kaido. Let's soften up this Legatus class.
ウルトラマンは大きさじゃないんだよ。これは全力で倒すっていう合図だ。
Good damage there.
とどめだ。
気のいいやつがいるようだな。
Actually getting over 50% on Dolgana's health. See if we can actually score something with 60% chance. Yep.
当てられると諸星さんに嫌味を言われるからな。
And I guess it's time for another round of Akashic. Never mind. What to do? That's a little too far. Well, whatever. Just giving it a bit of a focus. Let's hope this doesn't do much damage.
地球に手を出したことを後悔してもらおうか。逃がしはしない。
いいぞルルーシュ。さよなら。
Yep, that wasn't gonna do much.
容赦ない。
Why was that added? That's supposed to be a dynamic kill animation. I still do not get it.
キ系統を潰してやろう。とどめだ。
Ah, that still took a did. Not quite much, or rather, not
この程度なら問題ない。
not much as far as his health is concerned, but that's still a bit of a damage point, even with the persist on. The fact that he couldn't tank that with the absolute defense system is a bit worrying. So we just have to keep pushing forward, I suppose. Soften him up with the Akashic Buster.
軍団長狙いでいくぜ。
いくぜAkashic Record Search! Cyber the Change! とどめだAkashic Buster!
待てるだと。このドルがなんだ。
Never mind. That was a surprise critical from Masaki, who probably got miffed that the UI said it wasn't going to be a kill shot. And with that, Wave 4, or rather Wave 5, is out of action. Here comes the next wave. Looks like it's a repeat of Wave 1, actually, as we got another set of invaders coming in. Unfortunately, as much as I'd love to stay for another round or runs, I have to go. I think I went a little overdue here. Nonetheless, we did manage to get a pretty good run in at start of turn 4. We've already got 115 kills. With Kalin leading the charge by the looks of it. Alongside Masaki at 13. Only Bullet is down to 1 kill. Because we only used him once for now. All things considered, pretty good run. I hope that actually continues until the end of this stage. considering we've only jumped several levels for many of the guys who were pretty much under-leveled before we went into this stage, I think that is a very, very fruitful run so far. We'll have to see how far they can go until the end of this stage. With that being said, if you've got any complaints or valid reactions about the stream today, you can always drop me a line on my Twitter or my Pixiv. If you've got a hankering for the older streams that I've already done and have already been moved by Twitch for expiring, you can always check the VOD archives, linked in the About tab of my profile page. If you believe you have friends who might be interested in the stuff I stream, or are probably just in the mood to complain about PNG streamers on Twitch in general, you can always link my profile, twitch.tv/lurkatwork. That's all from me for now. Lurk at Work is RTV. I gotta go rest a bit and then go wrestle the real life stuff I have to deal with. Thank you once again for joining us on this stream. Hopefully you can join us for the next one, whenever that comes about. Just keep an eye out on the socials. I'll see you until then. Good night, everybody. I'll see y'all when I see y'all.